We just installed the EG4 mini split. In this video, I'm going to show you how the install went, and I'm going to talk about what it comes with, what it did not come with. There were some things that we had to run down to the hardware store and pick up so that we could finish the install. And then I'm going to talk about some of the features that I really like. So let's just jump right into it. What does it come with? An indoor head unit, an outdoor unit, 16 feet of pre-vacuum lines and electrical wire, remote battery plus an app, screws and wall mounting bracket, and a draining hose. Okay, but what it doesn't come with, and you're gonna have to figure out if this is something that you need or you already have something that's going to work for you. The electrical. You have to have electrical in. You either have to have an electrician come in and set up a box, or you got to know how to do that yourself, or else we did it ourselves, but we can't show you that because nobody's a licensed practitioner over here. Anyway, it also did not come with some anchor brackets to attach the hoses to the wall so that everything was really nice and secure. Now, it did come with a drainage hose, but you got to be mindful where that's going, because if you're in a humid climate, it's dumping buckets. Like, it's literally dumping buckets of water down that hose every single day. This unit took us 2 hours to set up, and that did not include the electrical part. All right, let's do a quick rundown how this install went. First, we needed to run the electrical. So here's a list of things that we needed, except that 30 amp. We returned that and got this 60 amp. Just because it was a much nicer box. And then in your breaker panel, it's a 20 amp switch. But none of this really matters because this is DIY and electrical is not DIY. So you're going to have some professional come in and take care of this, or a husband that is like, yeah, I can do that without any problem. Don't worry about it. Your house definitely won't burn down. Okay, so when your electrical is all figured out and you know where this unit is going to go, then you go ahead and just put that outdoor part outside and this inside part inside. It comes with a nice cardboard template so you can fit it to your wall and know exactly where your screws are going to go and where your hole is going to go. Right into the wires?
Yep.
And just hope you don't run into wires like we did. Lucky for us though, we knew exactly where our studs are because we haven't painted the drywall yet. Now make sure that when you drill that hole that you're at a slight angle downward to go outside so that all that moisture is going to be draining out. And another handy little tip is to make sure that that unit is going to be sitting a little askew so that you have a little bit of a tilt to make sure that that water is draining out the hole and outside and not in your wall. Now when this is telling you to choose a location, it says to not do it next to a door. But you can't tell us what to do. We do what we want.
There we go.
And it really made the most sense for the space of the house. He says it's for the wires, but I think he just likes fingering the hole. Now for that head unit, it has labeled wires 1, 2, and 3. So it's very simple to plug that in. So we connected the communication wire and then the drainage hose and then taped that together so that we could fit it through the wall. And we did take the unit's face off. It was just 7 screws. We popped it off so that it wouldn't be in the way of doing that wiring and we wouldn't like break it or scuff it or something for this little install. But you don't have to do that. Now we've got all those lines popping out the back of the house. We faced off, now we face on. Put that head back together. And because we got started on this first thing in the morning, the power went off in the middle of our install because our battery bank didn't quite make it there till the sun came out again. But that's okay. We don't need power for this part. We're just going to put those screws back into the head so that it's all mounted back on. Now, if you didn't take the head off, you don't need to do that part. Great, success. It's done. Now we go outside. That's the place that we're going to put it, but we need to make sure that it is level. Now this does come with a wall mounting bracket. It's for putting this outside unit on your wall, but we chose to do a pad instead. Next is connecting the pre-charged copper lines from the inside to the outside units. Now you need to really carefully roll those copper lines out because if you get a kink or a pinch in those, you got to call in a professional to expensively fix it. Now it's really easy to know which one goes where because there's 2 different sizes and really they only fit on the one they're supposed to. What is it about this movement? It's reminding me of something. Okay, here's the part where we realized we needed some kind of strap to hold this up on the wall. So we used some temporary straps until the stores opened up. We could go down into town and get the parts to finish the electrical and the brackets for holding that on the wall. Now make sure that you're putting that drainage hose on the bottom. See how it's on the bottom and it's at level, so it's not got any bellies, because that will make your hose back up and then you'll get a leak in the house. These 16-foot lines were perfect for where we put our unit. Your installation manual will tell you the specs of how tight you need to do these quick connect. Definitely don't just go until your ancestors say, that's tight enough. And then the final step is to release the refrigerant into the line. The tightening specs for this are also in the installation manual. And then snap in that cute little locking key. Okay, not final step, because obviously you got to put in that wiring. This is the communication wire from the inside unit that goes out to the outside unit, and it's really simple because they've got it labeled 1, 2, and 3. So simple, a girl could do this. Tighten those down nicely and then put all of those underneath the cable clamp. Okay, but the next step is where you have to be somewhat smart. Don't just have your 5-year-old go in and do this part because they're not labeled 1, 2, and 3. You have to know what black, red, and a grounding wire are. So if you're not comfortable doing that, then run over to your neighbor's house, ask if you can borrow his screwdriver, and be like, oh, I just need to hook up a couple of wires on my AC unit. And he'll be like, oh, let me just take a look at that for you. And then later you'll probably have babies together. And he'll be building you a chicken coop soon too. Okay, now that the rest of your life is planned out, you're gonna go ahead and put that plate back on. Just got a couple of screws. And applaud yourself for a job well done. Oh, and remember to put the cover on those 2 blinds too. Congratulations, it's hooked up.
Yeah, success.
Okay, but why did we choose the EG4 mini split? Because it's a hybrid, and that rocked my world. They just hook straight in, like you could just click it right into some solar panels without needing any kind of exterior things. You don't need a battery bank, you don't need an inverter, you don't need any of that stuff. You just need a solar panel with a line that clicks straight into your AC unit, and you could be running air conditioning just off of the sun. So if you're on the grid, that's going to be saving you so much energy when cooling your house all day long. Is just cooling from the power of the sun. Amazing. For us, we're off grid. So having that unit cooling from its own solar bank, like pretty stinking cool. The huge downside is
we got nothing here. There's something under load that's not working.
And we realized that the panels we already had and had planned on installing for this, they didn't work. I'm getting some more panels to hook it up to its own solar array. Right now it's just running off the house. But the downside to that is that the solar coming into our inverter is putting wear and tear on the inverter to send that electricity through the house and to the mini split that is then cooling. When we could bypass that whole system and just have its own array of solar going directly there, and then you're not putting extra wear and tear on your house unit. And that was one of the things that really excited me, because we're off grid. Having that security of knowing that air conditioning and heating is not going to affect what the rest of the house is doing. We can just live like normally without needing to scale way back for the amount of energy that the unit would be using. And I was really excited to try that system out, and we'll have to do that in another video. Okay, but that glorious moment when we hit that power button and the thing came on, the drop hatch opens up and it starts blowing that cool air at you. Absolutely amazing. I didn't even realize what a gem we were getting. You know, in my mind, we were just gonna be getting something that can heat and something that can cool. But to turn that on and start going through the app, I don't even use the remote.
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
So naturally I go with the app because it's got great pictures, good icons, and it's really simple to navigate. You can go through all of the settings and completely customize this with setting a schedule, with temperatures, and you can monitor everything on the app. You can see exactly what your energy consumption is draining from your house or going from the solar. Honestly, the install went really well. We watched one other YouTube video and then we just dove in. But we were dying of heat. Let me tell you, the humidity in the house was like 83%, and the temperature was also like 83 degrees inside our house. We were absolutely stewing in our own juices. So the relief that this brought us in the first day, unprecedented. Not to be dramatic or anything. So let's take a quick look at this app, and I'll show you the energy consumption that this 2400 BTU or 210 mini split will do. So the house is nice and warm right now because I was gone. So I'm going to turn this down. Currently we're on cool and low fan speed. So I'm going to turn the temperature all the way down as low as it gets, which is 61 degrees. And keep an eye on that upper right corner. It's telling us how many watts we're pulling. Now I'm also turning the fan speed all the way up and the temperature all the way down. So we're running at full speed right now. Immediately it started cooling down, and then I came back every 5 minutes to check, and the temperature continued to fall quite dramatically. but it's kind of a cloudy day and I didn't want to use all of my power to play with this. So I'll turn it back on to energy saving and watch these watts just start plummeting down. This is not my house. My house was way too noisy. I had to get out of there. Well, thanks for being here. Remember to like if you found some value in this content. Share for somebody else that might be thinking about this, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the fun that's coming up. We're doing a lot of off-grid stuff. We got a lot of solar stuff. We're doing homesteading stuff. We look forward to seeing you on the next video.